Okay, hi there guys. Today we're playing some Rome Total War 2. We're going to be looking at a battle between two armies of Romans and two armies of Gaul. The Arverni, to be specific, have crossed the Alps, and at the moment I'm fighting them with two of my Roman armies as they come over the Alps on the western side. And the game seemed to think this was going to be a tough one, even though we've got two armies each. I wasn't too worried about the experienced Gaul troops on the other side, but have now seen this terrain. This is not really what we want as Romans. I don't want to fight them here at all, or anywhere near where they've started. It's going to be difficult to hold formation against them properly over there. This is tempting, very tempting. My reinforcements are going to be coming in over here, so I'd be able to form up in this position quite well. The only problem is I imagine they would move to engage me down here, but they could also move around here, and then they have the advantage of two slopes, which I don't want to be caught between. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fight them on the flat, because I have to fight them on the flat. But I think I'm going to try setting up here, and I'm going to hope that this little ridge here might... I'm not sure it will. But I'm going to hope it might shield me from view if they've set up more down in towards this valley and they're moving towards the valley. Now, I know they have some cavalry with them, so for this battle I'm setting up the velites here, my lightest troops, behind my front line, my least experienced of my melee troops, the hastati. This, though it will mean the enemy fire first, particularly because they have slingers, will mean that hopefully my skirmishers are a bit more out of the way of the cavalry I know the enemy are carrying, because as you can see I have no cavalry myself. I'm going to try and fight this, as I say, as a defensive battle, because I don't want to enter these woods and hills. I want to try and stay in formation as best I can and try and fight these guys on the flat land. And I think, first of all, what I might do is try... I don't know where they are now. Let's have a look. My men aren't hidden. That's a little bit of a blow straight away. I can't see the enemy. Oh no, they're there. Right, I can see the enemy and they can quite obviously see me.
Our reinforcements have arrived!
They have actually spread kind of down towards my reinforcements. But for the moment, I think what I want to do with those units is simply let them come forward a bit, so that the enemy might maybe turn to engage them. And if I can pull them down here, I can hope that they won't filter too much of their forces in through this forest when I take up a position. The enemy reinforcements I haven't seen any sign of yet, but I know they're coming somewhere. I have a feeling they're in these woods, and that this means could start finding that I have got men coming out those woods on the right hand side. Oh yeah, here we go, here's another Germans unit coming in. There we are, the reinforcements are up here, okay. So at the moment, they seem to be looking more towards the part of the force that seems to be in complete disarray and is just running for the safety of the other army. And not moving very quickly though, so I don't think they're particularly committing to catching those reinforcements at this stage. I would like to get my reinforcements over here quickly though, even with that being the case, because I'd like to try and form a front line. Now this time, now that all the ranged troops are actually here, I'm going to deliberately make it so that the melee troops both in front and behind of these velites actually overlap the units slightly. That's just so that if any cavalry does decide it's going to try and charge them, for instance, it's going to get caught up on the units in front and behind. And hopefully it's not actually really going to do much damage to those inner units before I get the chance to swing the units it's been caught up on around to actually face it properly and get the skirmishers out of the way. Army setup now is pretty much as I started, which, like I say, is my hastati are taking the front, all of the hastati just at the front, to basically take the enemy charge and just try and form that solid wall of fighting against the enemy. They're going to do the brunt of the dying, is what I'm hoping. I'm going to hide my general in these woods a little bit and might help give him shelter. Behind that, my skirmishers, just a little more protected from the cavalry. Obviously also in range, so that they might not start firing at the enemy's ranged units, but an enemy charge will hit my hastati a lot less once it gets close and starts taking javelins from these, pilum from these, and pilum from these. And that's the point here, is to try and break that enemy charge so that the hastati can keep formation and just keep fighting in a solid line. I'm guessing, with me being a little distance out of them woods, the most they're going to do is try and swing a couple of units onto my flank over here. I should be far enough away so this ridge isn't a problem. So like I say, my only real worry is guys coming out here. The idea will be to try and form a front line here and not move forward into the woods to fight them, but let them come on again. I don't want to get into a fight in any terrain that's going to actually break up my formations, because what they're going to try and do here is they're going to try and break up this formation. At the back, behind these velites then, we have the principes, which are hopefully going to be the countercharge that wins the battle. Once the enemy does, I imagine, unless they do manage to try and get round the sides and try and break my formation that way, more try and form little spearheads with bunches of units in my front line, the principes will then charge in and just counter-attack, reform that front line, and hopefully push through and win. If all else fails, my last hope is, of course, Rome's last hope, the Triori. We've got quite a lot of them here today, so that's good. They shouldn't have to really fight, but if all else fails, hopefully they will stop whatever is left of the troops that do manage to beat my front units. It's quite a standard way for Romans to fight, really, is just to disrupt the enemy charge, let the enemy come on, particularly with barbarians like the Gaul. They were used to tribal warfare. They'd come in, they wouldn't hold as much of a formation or fight as a unit like the Romans. And basically, once they charged in a few thin lines or a spearhead and hit the Roman shield wall, the idea was that discipline of the Roman shield wall and the holding of their formation would simply mean they could wait for the barbarians to swing their larger weapons and then simply stab forward with their stabbing sword, the gladius.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
Okay, here they come. They have indeed brought something through these woods, so they're gonna try and flank.
Melee infantry ready.
What we can do about that then, straight away, before they even get the chance to do much with it, is just move some of these Principes out onto this flank, and that should force them to then turn onto these Hastati.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
Here, I'm gonna go for just an outright attack, because I've caught that quite late there. Right. See now,
Melee infantry at your command.
what we're kind of finding is the enemy they're not really having much luck breaking these Roman formations, attacking from the front. So what they're trying to do is pour as many units as they can into areas to try and just form a break in these Roman lines. Because if they can form a break, they can start getting into the sides of units and breaking up my formations.
Jupiter gives us strength.
And they've done pretty well here. They're kind of pooling their strength in a few places quite well. And they've sort of forced my counter-attack quite early here. At this point, I think
Romans to a man. Missiles ready and waiting.
all my missiles are firing, so that's fine.
General!
I have our general form Testudo, just in case do start firing missiles at it.
Our general is under attack.
That, I think, is one of my second generals. However, the enemy really are pushing hard on that flank, so I'm just going to move another unit around there. Ah, it might be that unit that is the general. Sorry about the frame rate drop here, guys. And as you can see, the ranged units are now starting to move further and further forward.
Ready for orders.
Kind of getting to the point where they look like they might have to actually engage with those melee units here.
Spear infantry at your command.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Right.
Velites!
At this point, these can come out.
At speed! Romans ready for duty.
But in most places now, this front line is very much holding.
For glory, Commander.
I'm going to stick some more Triuri in that side.
The men are wavering.
I'm going to come around this side with these. Where are we wavering? Okay. So we're already reinforced, so that's fine.
Spearmen ready for orders.
Make sure they do actually take down those cavalry. What's happening here is that I think the enemy have seen me moving these troops around here. problem here is that once I've got two
The enemy
lines looking at
general
their loose
is dead.
formations, especially with one of their generals dead, they're gonna start taking really heavy casualties here on that flank. The idea there is just to cause as much disarray as I can over on that flank. It's a manoeuvre I'm now going to repeat here. I'm going to charge into the back of these guys.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Missile infantry!
These guys have used all their ammo as well, so they're
Advance at speed!
just run back to the safety of my lines. Here comes the enemy general.
Spearmen, ready for orders!
Straight in
For
here.
glory! Astarte! Ex for glory! Principes! For glory!
Just push. This side of the battlefield is still a bit of a mess. They did quite well coming out of these woods there. With the cavalry coming around the side as well, it did force me to really try and react and get a solid line, which just still hasn't really happened to a great extent.
One of our units has used all its
Formed
ammunition.
over here. I mean, that cavalry is still running around, and they've still got tactical reserve running in here.
Spearmen at the ready!
At this stage,
Your orders! Advance!
actually really not good. My centre is going to hold, that's absolutely fine. This flank I'm pretty sure is going to hold as well.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Jupiter gives us strength!
Start.
Principes! Romans, ready for duty! Melee infantry ready! Principes!
Really needed anymore.
On quick march!
These guys can now start moving to try and flank this force on the other side, because this is the part of the battle that's still not really won.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
To advance!
Ooh, they thought about charging on It's Principles, that severely weakened unit spearman is not really going to happen.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
No, they've made a mistake here. What they've done here is they've actually moved their general
For glory!
away from the rest of their line. By moving the rest of the line away in retreat. And that's just going to mean that
Proud Romans all!
I'm going to catch this whole lot. Let's go here then, I want it.
Triani!
So I've got some units surrounded here.
Triari! Spear!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Gate! Pull back!
Somebody's retreating, and I'm not sure where. Sounded very close by, to be honest. Right, well, really is Rome's last hope, my last unit of Triori. They're coming over here now.
Missile infantry!
I'm going to get these guys out the way, out the fight.
Advance at speed! Valites!
Get these guys
At
out the way in
speed!
these woods.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
They hold a loose formation anyway,
speed!
so as light troops they'll actually fight
Missiles ready
a
and
lot
waiting!
better in these woods than my heavy troops.
At the double!
The only problem is the enemy are also very good at fighting in wood, so it won't really give me an advantage here. However, it looks like we've just about managed
Astarte! Forward!
to get these guys all mopped up.
On my order!
Our men flee the field of battle.
Really.
This is
At
a
the last
shameful
minute,
display.
there's one unit left, and you flee. There we go. Battle over. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. That went really well, to be honest. AI does seem to like, particularly on some of these harder difficulties, trying to sneak through woods with at least some of their units, which is nice to see compared to some of the games that I've had in the past on normal and hard, where the enemy doesn't really use any sort of tactics at all. It was a pity to see they didn't use the woods a bit better, although they did try and use this ridge quite well, and really did try and get around my formations. The only thing is the Roman formation did have the successive lines to run to the flanks, punch through where lines got weak at the front, and as you can see, it really is a case of the Hastati, and unluckily in a lot of cases the Principes as well, have done most of the dying. A lot of the Triarii that were thrown forward haven't really, other than these two units, taken a lot of damage, which is good. That went quite well. So yeah, as I say, thanks for watching, and I'll hope to see you again soon.